But in this particular instance, our police have gone rogue. They think they have the power to permit a demonstration. They don't. That is why they think they can blockade parliament. Bungei and Koome will bear personal, individual responsibility for any loss of life that will arise from the police bullets. And this is an issue that will even be escalated to the highest courts in the world.
Hello, very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Kenya's most comprehensive political and public governance analysis show here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Such a pleasure to have you on board. My name is Evans Okinyi, and I'm here with Wakili Willis Otieno. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes.
The young people have decided to rise to the occasion.
Yes.
They are saying we are the people. We have the power.
They are the people, and their voice must be heard.
Okay.
The voice of the people is the voice of God. Vox populi, vox Dei.
We are the people, so to say, and the agencies are saying here that reject the finance bill in totality, do not amend even a single clause. That is what they are saying, and terming these taxes punitive. Wakili, let's look at what has actually been taking place within this country with regards to this. Now, the young men are on the streets, and even despite the fact that they decided to go on the streets and air their views and protest against the Finance Bill 2024, the government still went ahead. Of course, the parliament still went ahead and passed that particular bill. And of course, we are waiting for the next stage to see whether our members of parliament will actually go ahead and pass it again. Now, let's have it this way. There is something that is actually coming up containing the kind of protest that we are witnessing right now. It seems the government is getting it wrong. Why do you think it's so difficult when you compare the previous protests that we've had with the current one? Why is the government finding it so difficult to contain the young people here in as much as they're trying to do so?
Number one is the sheer numbers, the magnitude, and you look at the spontaneous nature of this protest and the spread. It's everywhere.
Okay.
The police themselves can only respond to a certain limit. But more importantly, what illegality have these young people committed for the state to respond? In fact, the only illegality that I was discovered in this protest is the police have illegally stopped the march from the intended location. Because for the young people, especially in Nairobi, they were very clear that they were going to protest outside parliament. The police have no responsibility, they have no duty, they have no right to stop the protest outside GPO, to stop access through Taifa Road into Parliament, to block Parliament Road. The venue of the protest is the Parliament building, and under Article 37 of our Constitution, the right to demonstrate, to picket, comes together with the right to determine the venue of that demonstration. In this particular instance, the identified venue is parliament buildings. So the police should get out of the road. If they want to put any barricade, they should go and put that barricade in the speaker's office, not on the road to parliament. The people of Kenya, the Gen Z, and all people of Kenya who have since given legitimate notice have a right to get to Parliament Road and to picket and to demonstrate. Parliament, in this particular instance, has missed the boat by a mile. The people have said reject the finance bill. And any person sitting in Parliament today, he is sitting there as a representative. He is not sitting there because he owns that space. He is merely the voice to articulate what the people have said in their voice.
Okay.
So those 2 or 4 members of parliament who are voting, they should tell us who they represent. Because over 99% of the memorandum they received rejected that bill. And the people have on the streets, led by the Gen Z, said we reject that bill. Where we are not even talking about amend the bill, review the bill. It is about reject that bill. And members of parliament must listen. They have no choice about this thing. And there will be consequences to them if they don't listen to the voice of the people. As I always say, the voice of the people is the voice of God. Vox populi, vox Dei.
The young people are saying reject the bill in totality. The government is saying, well, we can talk and at least strike a balance somewhere. What do you make of
Talk
that
with who?
With the young people, so to say?
We who? Who is then going to do that talk? Already the young people have given their reducible minimum. Reject the bill.
Okay.
So who is this that they want to convene a conversation with? Azimio? Or Wiper? Or themselves as Kenya Kwanza? We had the conversation when they're doing the public participation. The talks have taken place. And the people have said, reject the bill. So when we had the talks, they didn't listen.
Okay.
Because the people of Kenya responded to the call for talks during public participation. And they said reject. They have now gone to the streets. So which talks are we going to have with the young people?
Okay. Okay, do you think the lack of any substantive leader of this particular movement here may be responsible for the government's failure to contain the protests as well?
The leader of this revolution is the people of Kenya. Everybody is a leader in his own right.
Okay.
And we are all leading the demonstration in our own space. We don't need any more conversation with the government. They are representatives. They are just agents of the people. The people are reclaiming their sovereignty.
Okay.
Because the designed delegate has gone rogue. So the people have decided to speak. So we are all leaders of this thing. In my own space, around my 1 meter perimeter, I am the leader. You within your 1 meter perimeter, you are the leader. So and so in his own 1 meter perimeter is the leader. And we are all saying reject. So what response can government do?
Okay.
We are not going to say that we will go to a national dialogue or a conversation anywhere. They can talk and have those conversations the way they want. But the people of Kenya, and this thing is not even about Gen Z alone. We have all, as the people of Kenya, rejected this thing. The only people who have not rejected this thing are those who've oppressed us, those who've been living off our lages, those who've been spending 20 million shillings per weekend on dubious fundraisings, those who are wearing expensive watches and belts and expensive shoes are the ones who have not rejected. But the people of Kenya have rejected, and they have all, in their own individual space, rejected it. So at this point, all that the Ruto administration needs to do is to go and tear that piece of paper called the finance bill and trash it.
Well, I wonder how possible is that, but here we had. Before we go on, talk to me about the conduct of the police so far. Initially, before these demonstrations began, of course, a group of people who are also part of the protesting lot issued some sort of notice to the Nairobi region commander, therefore Adamson Bungei, the police boss here in Nairobi, and he actually dismissed their request to conduct these peaceful demonstrations therein. Then, of course, even after he denied that kind of permit, the people still went on the streets. Then the next day, I also saw the chief inspector of police, of course, Inspector General of Police, Japhet Koome, saying that there was a letter circulating that he had now permitted. Now, I wonder what we're actually facing here.
Understand this.
Make me understand what does that
The
mean.
police have no right to permit.
Okay.
Permit what? Where do they get the authority to permit any demonstration in this country? They don't have the power.
Okay.
They don't have the right. What they do is just to notify them.
Okay.
I am going to demonstrate, notify them to provide security to me. Where does Bungei or Koome think they get the power to permit a demonstration? They don't have it.
Okay.
And this same Koome, I did a case before Justice Lenaola in 2016. And he was told by the court he has no right to permit. His right is to be notified and to bring security to protect me when I'm demonstrating.
So once he's notified, how then should he communicate?
His work is just to I'm notifying you. His is just to appear.
Okay.
He doesn't even need to notify me until he's coming. He just becomes aware that I am demonstrating on this day, so that he is able to protect me as I'm protesting and picketing, the police have no power and no right to permit any demonstration or picketing. Their work is to come and provide security. But in this particular instance, our police have gone rogue. They think they have the power to permit a demonstration. They don't. That is why they think they can blockade parliament. Bungei and Koome will bear personal, individual responsibility for any loss of life that will arise from the police bullets. And this is an issue that will even be escalated to the highest courts in the world. The ICC is there. And we have lawyers who are compiling evidence arising from the atrocities from the police on their conduct. Any loss of life, any act of organization from the police that meets the threshold of crimes, which they have, we will take it even to ICC. And we will not be suing the Kenyan state. We will be suing individual officers who are responsible. The doctrine of command responsibility will apply. And the two commanders that we've singled out at this particular point is Bungei and Koome. And we'll go to ICC. And let them come and answer.
Okay.
As the commanders of these units. They are acting in violation of our laws. They are violating the rights of these individuals. And they are superintending over the killings, maiming of innocent young people who have not done anything wrong but to express their displeasure. It is time the police understand. Their duty is not to protect a politician who has been called out by his voters. Their duty is to protect the people of Kenya who are acting in accordance with their constitution. If they cannot do that, they will be called to answer. If not here, internationally. And I want to remind Koome, and I want to remind Bungei, as we sit here today, there are police officers, police commanders, who are responsible for units in Kisumu, when Baby Pendo and other protesters, and other people who are lawfully protesting were killed. Those commanders are in court today, here in Kenya, begging the courts not to allow them to take plea. There is a recommendation for them to be prosecuted for those atrocities. Some of them are retired officers. I will tell Koome and I will tell Bungei. One thing they must remember, there is no limitation of action on commission of criminal acts. They may think they hold those offices today, but even in retirement, we will call them to account. If there's any commitment that mine and my entire group of lawyers and those who will come after us have avowed, is that any atrocity that will be committed against this Gen Z will not go unpunished for as long as we breathe and from as long as there's a law in this country. We will pursue the people individually responsible today, tomorrow, and to eternity, for as long as they breathe, whether they are in office or out of office. That is a promise, not a threat. We will go after them, and they will answer for the death of Rex, the death of Mike, the maiming of our people. They will answer today or tomorrow. There is no limitation. We, as the young people of this country and the Gen Z, we have the luxury of time, which they don't have. One advantage that I want to encourage Gen Z, one thing that we have, or that they have, that these police commanders don't have, is we have the luxury of time. We can wait this out. And when the time comes, however long it will take, we must call the police commanders to account.
No. What can you tell me this? Of course, we've already lost 2 lives of young people here as a result of this kind of police brutality and use of excessive force. But then here we are. The demonstrations are still going on, and the young people are saying that they will not relent or they will not stop anytime soon. How should the police actually conduct themselves so that we do not witness the loss of any other life moving forward?
The first thing I must say on that is this. Even as we plan and we prepare as the people of Kenya for the demonstrations tomorrow and on Thursday, those who've been forcefully disappeared by the police, including Shad, must be released. These forced disappearances and abductions by the police fall of our laws and the national laws. Kome and Bungei have a duty to stop the forceful abduction and disappearances of our young people. And we expect that going forward, the presence of the police in those demonstrations should be to protect the demonstrators and to facilitate them. If they feel they don't wish to protect the demonstrators, then they can stay out. They can stay in their police stations and do the other normal police duties. Their presence at the demonstrations should be to protect and to secure the location for the demonstrators. If they are coming to that space to interfere with the act of demonstration, they can stay in their police stations. Then we don't need them. And we'll come and visit them at the police station at some point and ask them, why don't you provide what the law expects of you?
Okay.
We can have a separate conversation with them to understand why they are not doing what the law requires of them. But the most important thing, and the least expected of them, is to come to secure and to protect the demonstrators. Facilitate them. They've been notified. They're aware. But the commanders cannot be giving the kind of orders they're issuing to stop the demonstration.
Okay.
They have no power. And I invite Bungei and I invite Kome. Show me which law in this republic allows you to permit. And I'm using the word permit. Refer me to that law. And as a lawyer, I will abide by that law. All I am aware is Article 37 gives me the right, and any other Kenyan, to demonstrate and to picket in a public space. All that I need to do is to notify the police, which they have been notified. There is nowhere that the word permit, that the police are permitted. Permit as who? These are people who are living in the Chiefs Authorities Act and the repealed Public Orders Act. Those laws were repealed. Those laws existed in the Moi days when you were required to get a permit before you could hold a public gathering. I want to tell all Kenyans, you do not need any permit from anybody to demonstrate or to picket. You only need to notify the police. And the purpose of the notification is for them to provide security, if need be.
What do you make of one of the proposals by a member of parliament to actually have anybody who participates in demonstrations without being permitted fined or rather serve a jail term? Of course, we've seen that member of parliament table such kind of a proposal.
You know, even fools grow old. And even fools get elected to parliament. That's a fool. The least said about him, the better. He's having a hangover. You need to smell the coffee. We are no longer in 1988, my friend. This is the year 2024. And in these protests and these demonstrations, we are being led by our children and our nephews and nieces. They're the ones leading us in these demonstrations. It's the Gen Z's time. So if he's still having the hangovers of Moi, I'm sorry. Moi is resting in peace in Kabarak. He will never lead this country again. And Moism will never lead this country again. Those happened in 1988 to ancestors. It will not happen to us. And Gen Z have told us it will not happen. If that is what the approach is, then I'll invite the government to start preparing more jails. Open new jails, turn schools into jails, turn universities into jails. Because we are going to arrest all of us at this particular rate. Yeah. Demonstrations are now a part of life in this country. They are part of life, we must accept it. People will express themselves loudly in demonstrations every day on any issue. So if that is the route that Kenya Kwanza wants to take, then just turn universities and schools into prisons. Because we are going to arrest all of us.
Okay. Okay, finally, talk to me about the sudden change of tune. I'm seeing at the beginning of these demonstrations, the government side very dismissive of what the young people were talking about here. But then recently, I've seen a number of them praising the young people and telling them of how they've changed the political conversation in this country, them being tribeless and so on and so forth. I've seen that kind of conversation going online. Do you think this is sincere, or is it a tactic that is being used to sway the young people so that they can actually stop doing what they're doing? Are you seeing some sort of malice in these sentiments?
It is just a realization that their time is up.
Okay.
And the new political wave and the new political consciousness cannot be attended to with the old tactics they are used to.
Okay.
Because they tried divide and rule. They tried gaslighting the young people. The young people have refused to buy that gaslighting. Mara, you are being sponsored by Russia. Mara, this is Azimio. Mara, Uhuru Kenyatta. Mara, they want to find out where this is coming from. Mara, you are just like babies. You are just KFC, Uber-driven demonstrators. Yeah, it's okay. The young people have said we are all that. But we are coming. Because all we are talking about is reject the finance bill. You can call us names. That didn't work. The name calling didn't work. In fact, the more they called the young people names, the more the young people went out.
Okay.
So, as it is their problem. So, this change of tune is not sincere. It's the realization that this movement and the reawakening of the people of Kenya is not going down. In fact, very soon you are going to see even parents. You're even going to see grandparents on the streets. Because at this rate that they start killing our young people, even parents will go out. Even grandfathers will go out and say, if it's about death, then start with us. Start with the old. They will go out and say, instead of killing our children, then kill us first. Then we'll see how far they will go.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it here from the Kandi Talk. Definitely, Wakili is here, is still maintaining that you reject the finance bill.
We reject. We reject. We reject. We reject the finance bill. And as the people are now saying, Ruto must go. We must deal with the brain that came up with these punitive measures in these harsh economic times.
Till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.